Hello everyone. I'm back. I'm testing out a new video setup today. I'm using my phone instead of my camera, so we'll see how this goes, how the audio quality is, etc., etc. But I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about what our next project is going to be. We are all going to be making some positive tokens. And I really wanted to tell you all the story of what these positive tokens are and how they came to be. I used to teach for the youth arts program at the college that I went to, and I got the opportunity to work with a man named Jason Bagata, who's an amazing artist. And he told me a story about how he started making positive tokens. He was living in New York City at the time that the two towers fell on 9/11. And it obviously had a massive impact on people's daily lives in New York City. There had been a ton of deaths. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of racism that was happening. There was just a lot of emotions that people were experiencing. And if you've never been to New York before, it's a very friendly city. People talk to each other all the time because there's people everywhere. And right after the events of 9/11, people weren't talking to each other anymore. You would go on the subway and it would be completely silent. There was none of that sort of community feeling that people had had before the event. So Jason, seeing this and being sad that the place that he lived no longer had this beautiful social liveliness that it used to have, started making positive tokens. And he told me that the first ones he made were actually pennies. He started picking pennies up off the ground because when someone drops a penny, they don't really bother to pick it up. And he started painting them, just little bright colors, or he would use tiny pens, tiny paint pens to write nice things on them, or he would just make them colorful. And he started giving them out to people. Anybody that he could find, he would just hand them to them. And the reason he did this was because it was just a way to make people smile. You know, this stranger who dresses like a punk walking up and giving you these like beautiful, colorful little painted pennies for no reason other than just to do something nice. We're in a situation right now where a lot of the positive things that we do for each other aren't happening because we can't see each other in person. But a positive token is a very intentional way of giving positivity towards someone who you feel deserves it. So this week, what you're going to be doing is making 2 positive tokens. You'll choose 2 different people who you feel like need a little bit of positivity or deserve a little bit of thanks. It could be someone in your family who has been doing all the cooking for everyone for the past couple of weeks. It could be a teacher who really helped you figure out how to use Google Classroom or navigate your assignments. It could be a friend who checks in on you every day. It could just be someone who plays a video game with you who you've never met in person, but you feel like checks in on you and is a friendly face in your daily life. Or it could be someone completely random, just someone who you feel like deserves your thanks, or you feel like could use some positivity, because we could all use some positivity right now. Now, when you're thinking about making your positive tokens, there's nothing to say that they have to be something that is necessarily drawn. When I've made positive tokens in the past to leave around Manchester, and I have done that. I've left them in cafes and coffee shops around Manchester. I usually do a little drawing, just something cute, usually birds or cats, something that people enjoy that might make them smile. I've known other people to do poetry. I've known other people to do even positive statements, like general positive statements, reinforcing people's confidence in themselves, those kinds of things. While we're in quarantine, it could be cooking a meal for someone. As long as you're making something for someone, writing an email or writing a letter. Snail mail is a great way to get people to connect. It could be just doing some drawings and then sending them to your friends and saying, hey, I did this drawing of you. There's a million different ways that you could do these positive tokens. I've posted a couple of suggestions in Google Classroom, but if you have any ideas that are outside of what I suggested, I would totally encourage you to do so. Just make sure that if you're doing something like making a meal for someone or sending a thank you email, that you have the ability to send a screenshot or take a photo of what you've made. And don't forget to do it, because I know sometimes I'll forget to, take a picture of something that I made because I'm so in the zone of actually making it, so that you can show me what you've made. And if you don't have any ideas, what I would love to do, or if you don't have any people who you want to specifically send them to, I would love to post these on the Google website that we've made to showcase student work. So if you're thinking and you're like, don't really want to get that personal, I don't want to send something to someone specific, or I can't think of anyone who I would want to send these to, it's totally fine for you to make something that's a little bit more general, and we'll post it on that Google website so that anyone can come and see it. So I really hope that this gives you a moment to think about some of the positivity and think about some of the things that people have been doing for each other, and some of the ways that you can support your friends and family while we are separated from people. Because I know that has been something I've been trying to do. While I can't see my friends, I'm still trying to support them in the ways that I would if I got to see them in person.
So I'd like to show you a couple of the different positive tokens that some of my students in the past have made, and also just some of the things that I've received as gift art that might be a good recommendation for something that you could do. If you're still feeling uncertain about exactly what you want to make, there's a list on the Google Classroom that you can just sort of pick from as well. So if you're really uncertain, I would recommend picking from that list and deciding on one of the things from there. So I have a bunch of things here that we'll kind of go through. These are the positive tokens that I have made before. So they're little birds, and I apologize that my desk is a mess. It's serving a lot of purposes right now. But I just sort of left these around different cafes in Manchester. I handed them to a couple of people within my school. I posted them up on walls. They say "take me" on the back, so people know that they can take them. But I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to say specifically, and I thought this was really, cute. I love birds. I think they're really fun. I had quite a few students who made origami pieces for this before, but I only got one of them. And this one, if you can't read it, it says "spread your wings," and it's a bird. So she made, I think, 50 of these. You definitely don't need to make that many, but if you know how to use origami, or how to make origami, that can be a really special thing to gift to someone, and decorating it like this is really nice too. These ones were an absolute hit. The student drew a ton of these, and then we photocopied them and probably made over 100 of these and taped them up and glued them and put them up everywhere in Manchester and in the school, and people absolutely loved them. It was just a super nice thing to see when you were walking up the stairs and seeing this thumbs up. It was really, really quite fun. Couple other ones that students have made. This one's really cool. It's gotten a little wrinkled over the years. It was rolled up like a scroll and had a little red ribbon, and she actually hung them in trees. But it says, "What's your story?" And then she used different pages of different books, including a couple of Bible pages, which had some significant meaning to her specifically. But these were really cool. Questions are a great one to do. This is another one that a student of mine made that was really quite popular. Look into yourself, speak your truth. So not necessarily just a positive thing, but prompting someone to sort of do something and to think about something in a different way. And I have this one hanging up in my studio. It's really, really quite awesome. And then this one, there were a ton of different variations that this student made. This is just one of them. It was also rolled up in a scroll. But it was all some variation of this awesome little smiley face saying different positive things. So these ones are nice and kind of general. They were mostly left around Manchester. We put them in parks and things. This was a cool one that my school actually did. They were probably like 50 different questions that were on these single sort of cards, and there's space to respond at the back. But it was really cool because it kind of made everyone think a little bit more about what the answer to these questions were. Going back to origami, these are little origami butterflies, and one of my classmates made like 50 of them one day and just gave them out to people. And I have 2 of them because I love insects, and so they were like, "Ooh, you get 2 because they're butterflies." And it's really lovely. It doesn't have any sort of fancy decoration, but it was a really nice gift, and I still have it hanging up on my wall along with the other one. This is a nice little button. I don't know if you can see, it says Brave, and it's got some glitter. It's on a button that was made with a button maker, but it's just made out of felt and a printed piece of paper and some glitter. And this was given to me by actually my boss, who was an amazing teacher, awesome person, and she made these for every student in the entire program. So she made a ton of these, and they all said something different, and I just happened to get one that said Brave. And this was a really nice little thing. I still keep it with my other buttons. Sometimes I wear it. It's a really nice little way for me to remember what she's taught me. Going to like more personal things, if you're thinking about making something for someone specific, cards are a really fun thing to make. I have blank cards, so I print cards quite a lot. But just a folded piece of paper, or even this is a really great example of a handmade card. This is all just different kinds of construction paper and scrapbooking paper. So if you have any of that, it can be really cool to make your own card and then write something on the inside. And this was a really cool one that I received from a coworker ages ago. She had raindrops for everyone who was in the, we were working with, everyone who was in the faculty at the place we were teaching. And each of the raindrops, she said, it was a drop in the bucket of what makes us who we are. And so it was acknowledging how we contribute to each other. And it just has a little note. Everyone got a tiny little note. And it was really cool to have that like imagery and have a handwritten note from her. So I still have that. Gift art is a really cool one if you're someone who likes to draw, and you're thinking about doing something for your friends. These are just 2 pieces of art that I've received from friends of my D&D character and my Vampire the Masquerade character. So they're super nerdy, but I hold on to them because they're really sweet, and it was very kind of my friend to draw my character for me. So that was a really cool one. This is a painting that I received. It's quite beautiful. It's a little watercolor and pen painting. And it's just of me and 2 of my friends from college. And it's just really sweet because it's a nice little memory of a day that we spent together. Quite simple. If you don't have lots of supplies at home, there's all kinds of things that you can do with other supplies. If you've ever been to Portsmouth or a bunch of other cities, a lot of places are doing it now. Painted rocks are quite common. I don't happen to have any right now because I've put all the ones that I found or that I've made out. So I don't have any at the moment. But taking a smooth rock and painting it a bright color, and then even just leaving it in your doorstep so that people can kind of see it from afar and get that bright color. Sometimes they'll have little messages on it. I found one that had an alien on it that I thought was kind of funny. Sorry, messed up the video a little bit there. But anyways, shells have a nice surface on the inside that can be painted. And you can also paint the outside, and there's an opportunity to maybe write a little message inside of there, paint it a bright color so someone will pick it up. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. I'm really excited to see what you all make. Again, this is one of my favorite projects. I think it comes out with really awesome work, as you've seen with all of the different pieces that students have made before. And they can be so simple and so effective. And just spread a little bit of positivity.